In the early 2010s, if you told someone you were quitting an engineering degree at a prestigious university to sell hot dogs and make videos playing video games, they would have assumed you were having a crisis. In 2010, YouTube wasn't a career. It was a digital Wild West of pixelated home videos, music piracies, and niche vloggers. It was decentralized, chaotic, and largely unprofitable. Enter Felix Kjellberg, born in Gothenburg, Sweden in 1989. Felix grew up in a traditional, successful household. His mother was a chief information officer, his father a corporate executive. The path laid out for him was clear. Graduate from the Chalmers University of Technology, enter the corporate world, and lead a stable, predictable life. But Felix was captivated by something else. He loved art, he loved video games, and more than anything, he loved the raw, unfiltered community growing on the internet. In 2010, he made a choice that horrified his parents. He dropped out of university, denied financial support. He took a job working at a hot dog stand and selling his digital artwork to buy a decent computer setup. He registered a YouTube channel under the name PewDiePie, Pew for the sound of a laser gun, Die for the result, and Pie because, well, he liked pie. Early PewDiePie videos were a far cry from the sleek, hyper-edited video essays of today. They were raw. Felix sat in a dimly lit room, playing horror games like Amnesia, The Dark Descent, and Dead Space. What drew people in wasn't the gameplay, it was the reaction. Felix didn't act like a distant host. He reacted with a chaotic, unhinged, and intensely vulnerable vulnerability. He screamed, he fell out of his chair, he threw his headphones, and he gave inanimate objects, like a small wooden statue named Stefano, fully realized personalities. To an older generation, it looked like meaningless noise. To a young, internet-native generation, it felt like sitting on the couch next to your funniest friend. Felix was building the bro army, and without realizing it, he was rewriting the rules of human connection in the digital age. By 2012, the momentum became unstoppable. Felix hit 1 million subscribers in July of that year. By August 2013, he surpassed Smosh to become the most subscribed user on the entire platform. This was the golden era of Let's Plays. The YouTube algorithm at the time began prioritizing watch time over clicks, and long-form gaming videos where people watched someone play a game for 20 minutes at a time became absolute goldmines. PewDiePie was the perfect vehicle for this algorithm. He uploaded daily, sometimes multiple times a day. His energy was infectious, and his relationship with his girlfriend, Marzia Bisognin, added a wholesome, grounded element to his chaotic online persona. But as the numbers swelled into the tens of millions, the reality of what Felix was experiencing began to shift. He wasn't just a guy in Sweden making videos anymore. He was a global phenomenon, generating millions of dollars and carrying the cultural weight of an entire platform on his shoulders. By 2015, the cracks in the Let's Play format began to show. Felix was visibly burning out on the screaming gamer persona. He was growing up, and his content needed to evolve. He began to pivot, introducing darker humor, satirical commentary, and structural experiments like YIA-inspired formats, meme review, and LWIA, last week I asked you. He began analyzing internet culture itself, turning his camera away from the video games and toward the very platform that made him famous. He had become the undisputed king of YouTube, a symbol of the independent, self-made creator. But when you're the biggest figurehead on the internet, you also become the biggest target. 2017 was the year the internet changed forever, and PewDiePie was at the epicenter of the seismic shift. As Felix pushed the boundaries of his humor into more subversive, edgy, and anti-correct territory, he stepped across a line that traditional media was waiting for him to cross. In January 2017, he posted a video featuring the freelance website Fiverr, testing how far people would go for $5. He paid 2 individuals to hold up a sign containing a highly offensive anti-Semitic statement, expecting them to refuse. They didn't. While Felix argued the video was a critique of absurd internet capitalism and what people would do for money, the visual imagery was devastating. In February, the Wall Street Journal published a scathing exposé detailing several of Felix's videos, accusing him of harboring and promoting anti-Semitic rhetoric. The fallout was instantaneous and catastrophic. Disney's Maker Studios severed their multi-million-dollar ties with him. YouTube canceled the 2nd season of his premium reality show, Scare PewDiePie, and dropped him from their top-tier advertising program. This event triggered what the internet now remembers as the Adpocalypse, a massive corporate advertiser boycott that forced YouTube to radically tighten its monetization policies, permanently altering the income of thousands of creators overnight. Months later, during a live stream of the game PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Felix uttered a racial slur in a moment of frustration. It was a definitive turning point. The independent creator who once could do no wrong was now widely toxic in mainstream culture. Felix was forced into a profound period of self-reflection. He apologized, but more importantly, he changed his behavior. The edgy shock humor was stripped away. He began reading philosophy, Stoicism, Kierkegaard, Nietzsche, and openly discussing these concepts with his audience. He survived the cancellation not by fighting the mainstream media, but by retreating deeper into his core community and shedding the desire for corporate validation. Just as PewDiePie seemed to be settling into a more mature, quiet existence, the internet dragged him into its greatest absurd theater piece, the PewDiePie versus T-Series war of 2018 and 2019. T-Series, an Indian corporate music and film production label, was gaining hundreds of thousands of subscribers a day, threatening to overtake Felix as the #1 channel. What began as a data observation quickly morphed into a massive, global cultural meme. For the internet community, T-Series represented the corporate takeover of YouTube, the death of the independent creator. PewDiePie represented the old guard, the individual, the organic internet. The rallying cry, "Subscribe to PewDiePie," became a global phenomenon. Fans bought billboards in Times Square. YouTubers like MrBeast spent thousands of dollars on advertising campaigns. Hackers compromised printers and smart TVs to broadcast the message. Felix himself leaned into the absurdity, releasing highly successful satirical diss tracks like "Bitch Lasagna" and "Congratulations." The war pushed Felix's subscriber count past 100 million, a historic milestone for an individual creator. But the meme grew too big, escaping the control of both Felix and his community. In March 2019, a mass shooter in Christchurch, New Zealand, live-streamed his horrific attack and uttered the words, "Subscribe to PewDiePie," right before beginning the assault. Felix was horrified. The meme was weaponized by real-world hate, and the fun was instantly gone. In a somber video titled "Ending the Subscribe to PewDiePie Meme," Felix called for an absolute halt to the campaign. He stated, "To have my name associated with something so unspeakably vile has affected me in more ways than I've shown. I didn't want hate to win." Shortly after, he officially lost the top spot to T-Series, but in losing the war, Felix won back his freedom. In late 2019, Felix married his longtime partner Marzia. In 2022, they fulfilled a long-held dream and relocated permanently to Japan. If you watch a PewDiePie video today, you are looking at a completely different human being than the energetic 21-year-old screaming at digital ghosts. Felix officially retired from YouTube years ago, meaning he stopped chasing the algorithm, stopped caring about views, and stopped fighting for cultural dominance. He now uploads whenever he feels like it, vlogging his walks through Tokyo, reviewing books, showing his workout routines, and sharing the joys of fatherhood after the birth of his son Bjorn in 2023. PewDiePie's legacy is complex. He was the pioneer of the creator economy, the mapmaker for the multi-million-dollar influencer industry. He stumbled into every single pitfall of sudden, massive internet fame, navigating institutional backlash, personal burnout, and the dark realities of algorithmic capture. But his final act is perhaps his most impressive achievement. In an ecosystem designed to trap you in a cycle of perpetual relevance, controversy, and growth, Felix Kjellberg did the impossible. He figured out how to win the game of internet fame by choosing to stop playing it. He entered the internet a bored college student, ruled it as a king, survived it as a lightning rod, and left it as a man who simply found peace.